Well, let me ask this, Seltzer. So tomorrow for 250, or not. Maybe I stick at 249. But obviously, as I emerge from the soundproof kitchen in Borgata, which song? I mean, Ray, tomorrow I'm going for Victor 250 in Beat the Hammer. And that is an astounding achievement. Or quest for an achievement.
Yeah.
Ray's
I'll
face.
alert the media.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
Nice job. Ray's face indicated he wasn't quite as impressed, and then the comment nailed it.
This guy here.
He'll alert
I
the
don't know why
media.
we have the Diddy on the show. What does he bring to the table? All right, so James, which song do you think you will go with tomorrow as I approach 250?
I don't care about 250 at all.
Well, you should.
I'll probably play Pink Panther
Correct
just because it
answer.
gives me a chuckle every
You're
time.
right.
So I've been
But I
enjoying
mean,
the Pink Panther.
Don't you think the Imperial March is, emblematic of greatness?
Don't care.
I mean, that's what I'd vote for.
Couldn't care less.
All right, well, Ray, speaking of 250, Ray, look, it's not human achievement like Man on the Moon, okay? No one's saying it's that. No one's saying it's the Wright brothers, but 250 is some. What do you think
Nice round number.
What should so Irvin Fryer retired a number of years ago, then unretired. But prior to that, Eagles gave him a motorcycle. Like, here, this is a thank you. Here's a motorcycle. Like, what Ray do you think either WIP or the city of Philadelphia should give to me tomorrow
Man.
if I achieve 250? I mean, that's unbelievable. 250? Like, what should I be given? There's got to be
imagine-
something.
Would you have a use for a motorcycle?
No, I'd sell it. I'd say, let me make the coin off this thing. I'm just saying, Ray, a city proclamation. City Hall proclamation for the Hammer. I mean, I'm thinking, city proclamation.
What gets into you? Do you really? I mean, get a load of this guy.
I know.
Don't say that.
I know
You're an
you're
idiot.
saying. You're saying.
Stifle yourself.
I understand.
Yes.
I probably should. All right.
Or
You should keep your mouth shut.
Yes. Shut.
All right. Ray, let me.
So what? You've won Bet the Hammer two. This will
two. Well,
Bet the Hammer. I like
Bet
that.
the
Yeah.
if you win tomorrow, it's 250 in a row.
two.
Not in a row.
Not in a
No.
row.
Oh, that
Two-
would be something.
That would be impressive.
That
I mean,
would
come on.
be.
Ray,
I'll give you credit
Ray,
there.
I'm 249 and 41. I mean, I don't think Michael Jordan ever had a winning percentage that high.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
you're playing callers, calling
But
up. You talk
there
on the
are a
radio
lot
for a
of
living. You've
times,
played this game
Ray,
300 times.
that'll
Like you should be
win.
better than everyone.
They're all
1-0.
eligible. A couple times.
1-0.
All right, Ray, all jokes aside, let's get to the Eagles here. So we had a poll question a couple days ago, and I'm curious where you come down on this.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Eagles a better football team in 2024 than 2023? We discussed at length how it's even hard to assess what the Eagles were in 2023 because they were really good and then they were really bad. They were 10-1, and then they were 1-6. How it nets out, I mean, you be the judge. Obviously, the record was 11-5, and then 11-6, 0-1 in the playoffs. But it was an all over the place year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of changes this offseason, including coordinators, players in, players out, major retirements. Ray, as you project it, I mean, I know the schedule is going to be easier, which can make the record easier or better. But are they a better football team than last year?
I want to see the two kids on the field. I want to see DeGene and Mitchell. If they're as good as I think they are, then this team will be significantly better. Because I think, I don't know where you. It's been a while since we've talked, isn't it? So I'm trying to remember where you guys come down on the Barkley signing. I think Barkley is going to be really good. I think he's going to be really good here. I think he is going to be a difference maker.
Yep.
And I don't know that a whole lot of people feel that way. There's the sentiment, at least among people that I talk to, and I'm not talking about people in the league. People in the league are kind of where I am. People in the league think Barkley's going to come in here and be a major factor. If you talk to the man on the street, the fans, they're kind of lukewarm on Barkley because they've seen him with the Giants, and he's never really killed the Eagles. And so people here, I don't think, have a real sense of how good I think he is and how good I think he can be in a new situation running behind this offensive line. I think Barkley's going to come in here and be a real difference maker. And if that's the case, then your offense is going to be really good. Then the idea is that now you have to see what do you have on the other side of the ball. And if Mitchell and DeGene are as good as I think they're going to be, then I think this team will be quite good. And you just you kind of glossed over it a little bit, but maybe the biggest factor of all are the two new coordinators.
That's big.
I mean, that's big.
Yep.
I mean, that's really big. Brian Johnson, nice fella, but way overmatched. And and the offense reflected that. I mean, it looked like an offense that had no real direction. It had no real identity. And when you think about
and no
team,
real pass protection against the blitz.
yeah, which is another thing that Barkley's going to help with. Barkley is, in addition to his ability to run and catch, I mean, he's also a very, very good pass protector, which will help you against the blitz. You realize
just a plan to pick up the blitz rather than, hey, Jalen, just run away.
And
that's what it was last year.
Yeah, and listen, the quarterback didn't help you. The quarterback did not help you. I mean, you can talk about the scheme, which was part of it. You can talk about a lack of execution, which is part of it. But the fact is, the quarterback didn't help either. I mean, in the second half of the season, when everything was spiraling around the drain, and teams were blitzing you like crazy, yes, the coaches should have come up with a better plan to attack it, but the quarterback needed to do a better job too. Do you realize what his passer efficiency rating against the blitz was over the last 7 weeks of the season? 66.3. I mean, those are benchable numbers, okay? Not just not good. Those are benchable numbers. So a lot of what we're saying here, do I think this team can be better? Yeah. Do I think it will be better? Yeah, I do. I think the upgrade in the coaching staff, the coordinators, is really significant. I think the Barkley signing is an excellent signing. I think the draft with the two corners that are coming in are really good additions here. But you know what? None of it's going to matter if the quarterback doesn't play better. It's going to come back to him. I mean, he's got to get back to playing where he was 2 years ago. If he can do that, then I think you have a chance to.
Right. And doesn't it
really,
feel
really
like
good.
There's a much better chance that he'll do that because of the pull that Saquon represents, and then he represents the pull that allows Saquon more success, and it sort of snowballs in a good way. Rolling down the hill.
It does. But here's one thing about what Hurts will be facing this year that nobody's really thinking about, but I've been thinking about. There's going to be more of responsibility on him at the line of scrimmage this year with not having Kelsey there.
Sure.
Kelsey did so much thinking for the quarterback over the last 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff, a lot of the setting the protections, picking up where the blitzers are coming from, all of that stuff he did before the ball was ever snapped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that Juergens can't do it, but he certainly won't be able to do it at that level.
But he has done exactly what he'll be asked to do. And I think, but he's probably done a good job at it at the college level. He's done it at the pro level in preseason games and that sort of thing. So we'll have to get used to it again. But I do think this is something that he seems like a sharp player. Really, that's what it requires. The heads up, smart guys are usually good at
I agree.
determining what the defense is trying to do.
I agree. But Kelsey gave you such an advantage in that if you're the quarterback, you never even had to think about that.
Yeah.
You never had to think about your protection because you knew he was doing that. So if you're the quarterback, you're coming up and you're looking at the back seven. You're not even worrying about right up here because Kelsey's setting that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
it's possible that Cam can do that.
And I'm saying that he can, but I'm saying that how quickly will Hurts have the level of confidence that he's going to be doing it right that he had with Kelsey? That's going to be a little bit of a mental adjustment there.
Let me ask you this question, Ray, because, and again, everyone can join us, and there's a lot going on here, mostly Phillies, some Eagles, some Sixers, 215-592-9494. So in the last few minutes, to me, it's the most critical I've heard you on Hurts. And I'm struck by it. It's interesting, and I'm sure some agree and some disagree. Where do you stand on what I'll call the future of Jalen Hurts? Let's just put it in a 5-year box. And I'm going to ask you a very open-ended question.
Mm-hmm.
Because forget about 10 years from now. I'm done with thinking in terms of a 10 or 12-year plan with a guy that gets injured a lot. I don't think the Eagles should try to protect his body for when he's 34 years old. I think it's too far down the road. I think his style lends itself to the likelihood that he won't be their quarterback when he's 34. I'm going to try to look at this through about a 5-year prism. Do you, Ray Didinger, believe in Jalen Hurts in a meaningful way for the next 5 years?
Yes.
Why?
Because I believe what I saw 2 years ago. I believe what I saw 2 years ago is authentic. I don't think that it was an accident. I don't think it was an illusion. I think he is that good. I also believe in his work ethic. I believe in his intelligence. I believe in his ability to lead the team. I think that the leadership factor is there. I think guys want to believe in him and do to a large degree. A lot of what happened with the team over the second half of the year last year, it fell on him, but it wasn't all about him. It was a collective collapse, of which he bears some responsibility. I put an equal amount on the coaches. I thought the coaching staff I thought the coaching staff did a very poor job the second half of last year. But as far as Hurts, yes, I do believe in him long term. And I think that this year coming back, I think the addition of Barkley is going to change I think the addition of Barkley and Kellen Moore is going to change the whole look of this offense. I think that you will not recognize this Eagles offense they will look different. They will play different. There'll be more motion. There'll be more, to use the old Paul Brown expression, swish and sway to the offense. Whereas last year they were a stuck in the mud, utterly predictable, frustrating in the extreme offense to watch. They came out of the huddle.
Black and white.
I knew what they were going to do.
That's right.
Okay, so that's not going to be the case. There'll be a lot more nuance to the offense this year, and with the personnel that he's going to have around him and the weapons he's going to have around him, I expect Hurts to bounce back and have a big year. And I think in your 5-year window you're talking about, do I believe in the guy? Yeah, I do.
What about let's go to the next guy that's the next most important beneath Lurie and Howie. The coach. Would you give the same, because you not only said yes on Jalen, that was a yes, in my opinion, with an exclamation point. That was like, yeah, I really do believe in him.
I do.
Would you give...
And remember, I was very critical of the way he played.
I understand.
Last year.
No,
I was as disappointed, maybe more than most people. But it had, I'm still... If you're going to ask me, am I still buying in on him? Yeah, I am.
Would you give the same answer with the same exclamation point, same question, but about Nick Sirianni's next 5 years?
As emphatically, no. And that's not to say I think he's not going to be there.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm saying I don't think he can do the job. But if you ask me on a level of confidence between the two, my level of confidence in Hurts would be higher than it is in Sirianni's, because I just thought there was that utter collapse of the team last year. To me, was a reflection of the coach largely. And if this team's really going to bounce back this year, and I think they have a chance to do that, it's going to have to start with a tremendous emotional rebuild and a psychological rebuild of this team, because that was as bad a collapse as I can imagine with this team. What we saw last year, the loss of the Cardinals at home, the loss to the Giants, and then to go down there and have that utter no-show in a playoff game. I mean, it's not all about the coach, but it's largely about the coach. And I think do I still believe in him? Yeah, because based on his body of work, 3 years overall. Pretty good. But if you ask me, am I as confident in him as I am in the quarterback? Probably not.
Fascinating stuff with Ray. Time's yours up ahead. Plus, I wanted to do it this segment. We'll do it coming next. Bryce Harper, after the game yesterday, what he said about all that went down, that and more on your phone calls on 94 WIP.